Hey, what's up guys? Tyler here with Secure Team. The video that you're about to see has recently come back into the limelight after it was said to have been discovered on the so-called dark web. And many of you will likely have never seen this before. There's not a lot of information about it other than we have some video footage taken in the year 1992 of an alleged alien body that was discovered lying in the snow during a wintry night in Quebec, Canada. So before we go any further, here is that footage. Okay, pretty mind-blowing stuff. And if you've never seen this before, don't worry yourself, because not a lot of people have. It was recently featured back online again after another UFO channel said that they had discovered it in the deep web under the file name, quote, EBE 1992 Eager. And as you just saw in the video footage, it's technically video footage, but it's not. It looks as if someone is playing this video on a monitor and showing paused shots, okay? And then someone is actually videoing it with a camera. So we're basically getting secondhand video shots of a monitor. And so, as mysterious as it is just on its face, and all of the photographs that we're seeing in this video do look to show a discovery of some type of body in the snow. And you know, just from being alive back in 1992, I can say that at the very least, they do look legitimately like they were from that year, from the way the men are dressed, just from the video quality. It almost looks like an old VHS tape. At certain points in the imagery, it looks as if the body is hung up on a rope, possibly an electrical line of some sort. We have multiple men gathered around the EBE, as we will call it. And by the way, EBE stands for Extraterrestrial Biological Entity, and just is a moniker widely used within the UFO research field. So from now on, we will call this the EBE. And so after doing a little digging, I discovered some more information that kind of gives us a little bit of a backstory about this. You know, the info on this is scant, there is no doubt, but today we'll just go through what we know so far and what at least I could find. And so firstly, it's said that the witnesses of this sighting, of this incident, did not want to release the photos to the public at the advice of a local UFO investigator. And so a friend then decided to secretly video using a VHS camcorder the original photos. And only recently did this person decide to make the video public, and the video was said to have been released anonymously. The EBE was said to have been found in a wooded field near a road by 3 snowmobilers. The individuals in the photos were part of a local snowmobile club from Quebec. They happened upon the EBE in the late evening. The conditions, it was very snowy out. They did not touch the EBE due to fear of contamination. The individuals in this video have not been identified. It's said that the men hoisted the EBE with sticks and eventually with a rope or a cable. The entity appeared to have been lying in the snow for quite some time. It said that the individuals left the body due to the fear and risks of contamination, and upon returning the following day, it was gone. It's also said that during this time, UFOs were reported in the area. Now, again, whether this is real or not, we don't know. From what I found online, one person said that, well, it had been debunked after the creator of it came out some years later, although I haven't been able to find any information on that definitively. From what I can see, there's nothing in the footage that would tell me or at least indicate that it was fake. Many people believe the video and photographs to be real. The physical anatomical details are said to preclude this from being a hoax, and that in the early 1990s, the cost to hoax this EBE would have been, well, very costly. And so the EBE was said to have been discovered in an area outside of Montreal near the Rouge River, which is a river in western Quebec which empties into the Ottawa River near the Pointe-aux-Chênes and flows north of Mont-Tremblant. Now, here is the photograph of the EBE covered in snow as it was first discovered, where you can clearly see the outline, the head, the body, and if you look down here toward the feet, it almost appears that the EBE has possibly boots or something, of a dark nature covering its feet. Now, while looking at this photograph of the face, we'll notice that the nostril slits are filled with snow. The eyelids, we notice this sort of gaze, that you would see with many cadavers, of when the eyes just sort of are gazing out into nothingness. It's very similar to what you would see post-mortem. It's said that the cheeks, you'll notice here, are swollen, likely due to freezing and thawing. And there also appears to be some sort of trauma to the cheek here on the left side, where we see some red or bruising. Now, you can also notice here that the eyes of the EBE look very similar to humans. Well, that's another question that's been asked, is that are the whites that we're seeing in the corners of these black eyes simply snow that have gathered in the corners? Or are these actual whites of the eyes? It's also been asked whether these eyes are covered with black contact lenses that these alien grays have been found wearing, almost as a shielding of sorts, like you and me would wear a pair of glasses. Now, likewise, as we're looking at the neck area here, there seems to be some similar anatomy to what you would find on humans, such as the Adam's apple and the esophagus and the trachea. We can also see in some of the photos what appears to be a rib cage, or at least the ribs popping out through the skin, along with clear shoulder blades as well. So this thing is very anatomically correct, I guess you could say, which definitely errs on the side of it being real. But again, I will leave that up to you guys. Now, there is a part of the video which shows the EBE being carried away using this rope or cable. Now, what you're seeing here, again, appears to be something similar that would happen when a body is frozen or experiences freezing temperatures where the tissues themselves become frozen and stiff, and would support, again, the claim that this is legitimate footage. Now, in some of the photos, we can see one of the witnesses holding a flashlight, which has been identified as a Collier-type flashlight, widely used, or at least used, in 1992. It's said from analysis that there are 4 to 5 witnesses in these photographs, and more may have been involved, but we just don't see them in the footage. And here we have another image done by another researcher online that is pointing out some more anatomical features in the neck and of the eyes that further point to this being a legitimate EBE, or just a very well done hoax. Because it takes a lot of time not just to create something, but to put the muscle structure in, the bone structure, to make it 100% anatomically correct. It takes a lot of time, a lot of money, especially back in 1992. And not to mention, this was not touted like the 1995 footage of the alien autopsy, and sold for money and films made of it. Why go through all of that money just to release it years later anonymously? It doesn't make a lot of sense. And likewise, we see these muscles as well in the upper and lower legs. Now, another thing that was noticed while looking at these photos was that we have what has been called a skin anomaly, where it almost, in parts here, looks like there are cuts, or almost like a wrapping, like you would see on a mummy or a mummified body, where they wrap it in cloth, and you can notice that here. And so I'm not sure if this is some sort of tearing, or if indeed this is some sort of external wrap that the EBE used to maybe shield it from the elements while visiting the planet. I just don't know, but it is strange. And so, yeah, without further information, we don't know for sure whether this is real or a hoax. It sure looks like from the footage that this was a real discovery, at least in my opinion. I don't have anything to the contrary at this point that would sway me in the opposite direction. If it was a hoax, you would think that they just would have taken pictures right there at the scene and not videoed them secondhand off of a video monitor, which was said to have been done under the advice of a UFO investigator. Another question is, where did the body go? Where are the witnesses? And why hasn't this footage gotten more notoriety? And that's what I'm hoping to do with the posting of this. So, very interesting finding. An explosive smoking gun finding if this turns out to be legit. And so in the end, you guys are just going to have to watch the video. Tell me what you think. If I have any more updates, you can be sure I will post them. So stay safe, stay tuned, and I'll see you back in just a bit.